My name is Stephanie, and I'm here to talk about something today that has been on my mind for quite a while, and I'm going to talk about it just because I want it off my mind, and I feel like talking about it will really help. I quit my job because of unfair harassment and discrimination. So I'm not going to say where I used to work. If you know me and you know, that's fine. I'm not going to say where I worked. I'm not going to use real names. Everything, all personal information is going to be left out or censored or changed in some way or form, just so that I'm not putting anyone who is involved or still works there in jeopardy, and I'm not putting myself at risk by telling information that would be a little too much. It all started right before the holidays, right before Christmas. We got a new district manager at the store that I worked at. It is a beauty retail store. Our old district manager changed districts, and this person was brought in outside of the company. And that's always a really interesting dynamic and change, because they have to get adjusted not only to the company, but they have to get adjusted to the people and kind of learn how to lead those people. When before we had a district manager who had been there for years and years, and kind of promoted her way through the company. This person was hired outside directly into the district manager position. So we were all kind of nervous to see where that would go. So again, for the sake of confidentiality, I will not use his real name. We're going to call him Jerry. So Jerry came in, and it was kind of very sudden. So our store was due for a complete remodel. So tearing down walls, redoing fixtures, completely flipping all the product around. So we had to take everything off the shelves, reconstruct all the shelves, paint the walls, do different flooring. Everything changed. We got new technology, we got new product in general. There was a lot of change. So our store was closed for about 2-3 days due to the remodel process. That third day, I wasn't initially scheduled to come in, but I told my manager that I would be able to come in at nighttime. And to my knowledge, the store was supposed to be open that third day. Nobody really said anything to me prior. So I kind of walked in blind and didn't really get a whole lot of opportunity to prepare. I walked in and the store was in complete disarray. I'm a very introverted person, so there was a lot of hustle and bustle going on. Like, there was a lot of district managers, there were a lot of store managers kind of just everywhere. There was product everywhere, boxes, tools, dusters, brooms, people I didn't know, and I wasn't expecting it, so it kind of left me shell-shocked. I came in and just kind of froze, and I just stood there and just like looked around trying to figure out what was going on, because there was not a single familiar face to me yet. I finally found my manager in the chaos of the day, and I said, hey, what do you need from me? What can I do? So I start working on the section she told me to work on. And I knew that this was supposed to be my first time meeting our district manager, because whether the store was open or not, all of the district managers and our new district manager were supposed to be in and kind of overviewing the store. So my manager told me to prepare. So I was like kind of prepared, but everything just kind of threw me off basically. And so I'm working on my small little section toward the front of the store, and I see this group of really important looking people walk in, and it's 3 females and then a male. So that's who I'm assuming is our new district manager, but I'm kind of busy fixing things and still being freaked out in my mind about everything that's going on. So I kind of turned, looked, didn't really say anything because I didn't know for sure who they were. I just kept working. And so they kind of just, the only thing I can think of to describe them as are like Dementors in Harry Potter, just kind of like floating on top of everything, and like this feeling of dread, just kind of, oh. So that's how I'm going to describe Jerry and the other people who were there. So I keep working, another girl comes in, we're working on the same section together, so we're just kind of talking as we're working, and I never saw Jerry again. Like, he went to our back room and just kind of disappeared. So didn't really get a chance to meet him or speak to him or really anything like that. And my boss walks up to me as I'm about to leave for the night, and she goes, hey, can I ask you a favor? And I was like, I feel like I did you a favor by coming in on my day off, but sure, what's the favor? And she asked me if I could wear mascara and lip gloss next time I came in. And I just kind of looked at her and I was like, what? Because I didn't wear any makeup, but I knew it was probably gonna be like a really hectic day, like, so I didn't wear makeup just because I knew I'd be like running around. I get like I sweat a lot in my face, so if I'm wearing makeup and I like am working, like running around a lot, like it gets oily and patchy and it breaks down, and it's bad for my skin too. So I didn't wear makeup. I didn't bother. First of all, I wasn't supposed to work anyway, so I wasn't wearing makeup. And I looked at her and I was like, why? Like, does it matter? And she just looked at me and she was like, well, I just talked to Jerry and he thinks that you need to look more like on brand, and he thinks that you need to like put on some makeup next time you come in.
So you mean to tell me
that this man, who I've never met before, who really didn't even meet me, I don't even know how he noticed that I wasn't wearing makeup, because he like just walked by me and saw me for like 2 seconds. I barely turned around and looked at him. He said that I need to wear more makeup. So that was really bizarre to me, and it should have been a really big red flag like right away. But I just kind of looked at her and I was like, okay, I guess, like, sorry, I just wasn't expecting to come in today, so I just didn't put anything on. But I told her I would just like wear mascara and lip gloss next time, whatever. And then I get called in on another one of my days off the next week. I made sure to put on mascara and lip gloss. I put on like a nice like shirt and some bottoms and came in. I wasn't super bothered by this point, but there was like hell impending in my brain, right? So I pull up, beep beep, hi, I'm here again, and I see Jerry, my manager, and then another store manager kind of outside of the store, kind of looking at signage and stuff to like see if everything's clean. I guess they're kind of inspecting the front of the store to make sure everything looks perfect, and they're like really deep in conversation. So I just kind of walk past them, go in, clock in, get on it. So I work for about 10-15 minutes, and it's just me and my manager, the people that work there, and then like a whole bunch of like managers just kind of standing around not doing anything. So my manager comes back in after being outside with Jerry and whoever else, and she goes to the back with them for a minute, and then she comes out and finds me, and she pulls me to the side again, and she said, hey. And so I just knew something else was happening. So I was like, what? And she looked me in the face and said, please smile. And I was like, what? Like, I'm sitting here, I'm tagging like endless amounts of hair color. I'm not gonna smile like the whole time. And mind you, there were no customers in the store. I always like smile and greet customers whenever people come in, but it was just me and like a whole bunch of other managers I don't know. And like I'm not doing anything. I'm not talking to anyone. I'm literally just placing tags. So her request for me to smile was weird. And I was like, why? Like, why are you telling me this? Like, she's not the kind of person that would just go up to me and be like, smile, you know? Weird. So of course I see it on her face. I already know where this is coming from. But what she said just really shook me to my core. She said, Jerry just told me that he thinks you don't have a personality because you did not smile and say hello at him on your way in. What? So I haven't really officially met him. I've never spoken to him. I've seen this man twice. I have never spoken to him. And he somehow thinks he knows that I don't have a personality. All right. And that one got me. The makeup thing, whatever. This is a beauty supply store. I should have known something was gonna be said about me not really being dressed up. even if it was a day where we weren't like really even open to the public. But now I've complied with that. I wore mascara, I wore my lip gloss, I even put on some blush, you know, like just to kind of give me some life, whatever. And it's still not good enough. So now I'm ugly and I don't have a personality. So, you know, it's a twofer. I am really trying not to freak out at this point because I know what's going on, and I know it's because I'm becoming a target for this guy's like authority. So he basically pinpointed me and kind of picked me out of the crowd of the, you know, however many of us work there, and said, this is going to be my target. This is going to be my goal. My goal is to push her out, and that's it. So I was really upset. I was like holding back tears because it was just so stressful. And this on top of applying to grad schools and like graduating with my undergrad, it was a lot emotionally for me to kind of bear on my soul. And so my coworker, who I really am close with, came in later that day. So I just kind of did whatever. I tried to hold it together for like an hour until she came in. And the second I see her through our window, I run outside to her and just drop everything. And I just cried in her arms. And I just felt so broken because honestly, like, this is the type of person I am. She thought I was kidding. She thought I was coming out there to like mess with her, and like I wasn't really crying, and I was just kind of like, oh, I'm goofing around. But then after like a few seconds, she realized, oh my God. So she just kind of like gives me a hug. She's like, it's okay, it's okay. We go to the back, and she pulls my manager back there and is like, this is not this is not okay. And so I told my boss, look, she's here now. I'm gonna leave. I can't be here anymore. And my boss tries really hard to get me to stay and finish it out. So I told her, I was like, I'm not gonna stay here. I'm obviously not appreciated here. And I don't feel like it's right for him to treat me like that. So I'm gonna go home. I wasn't even supposed to be here today anyway. So I'm going. And she goes, okay, well, let me let Jerry know. And I was like, why? He doesn't work here. But she goes up to Jerry, and I hear her say this. She said, Stephanie's gonna go home because she's sick. And that, I was like, nope. And so I hear Jerry go, whatever, okay. And she comes back, and I was like, I really need you to tell him that I'm going home because he's full of it and I'm not sick. And she was like, please don't make this worse. And I was like, I didn't do anything. Like, this is on Jerry. But I was done fighting it for the day. So I left. I went home. I cried. I slept. And that was it. So that was the end of the remodel. And I was like, all right, this is over. Jerry is out of my hair. I don't have to worry about it, at least for a little while. I thought wrong. So after the remodel was done, all of the walkthroughs started. We were the first store in our district to get the full remodel. So a lot of the store managers in the district came, a lot of other district managers came, and Jerry came. So they did their walkthrough in the morning. I happened to be working that evening at like 5:30. So I figured, you know, they'll all be gone by then, right? Wishful thinking. So I walk in, and the very first face I see is Jerry. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so great. So I find my other associate, and I'm like, is he leaving anytime soon? Because I don't think I can do this today. And she was like, I don't know, because our manager wasn't in that day. So he was just kind of taking over as our acting manager and was just kind of giving us orders and stuff. And he was just kind of finishing up a few like last minute like things. So I went up to the other associate. I was like, what are we doing? Let me just jump on that train with you, because I'm not trying to speak to anybody else. So she told me what we were doing. We were basically counting inventory to see, we do it like every week or every couple weeks on certain sections that are really high risk, like hair color and nail polish and like makeup, small stuff like that people like steal really easily, like really high shrink areas. So we were supposed to be doing correction counts for those high shrink areas. So I grabbed a notepad and a pen, and I just kind of went at it because wasn't trying to ask any questions. I was super not happy that everyone was there. And so like 5 minutes into me doing this, and keep in mind, the other associate has been here for hours before me and has been doing it this whole time. But 5 minutes after I start doing these things, Jerry comes up to me, and Jerry wears these like boots things that like have like little like chain belt things on them. So you can just hear him walking up to you. It's like clank, clank, clink. Super irritating. So I hear his boots coming toward me, and I just like, I put it on. I have him on my mascara and my lip gloss and my smile, and I'm ready for whatever fresh hell this is about to be. And he comes up to me and he goes, "What are you doing?" So I told him what we were doing, and he said, "Who told you to do that?" And I said, "Well, no one really told me to do anything. I asked this girl over here what she was doing, and I just kind of joined." And he asks her who told her to do that, and she said that our manager had left a note for her to do them last night. And Jerry gets this smug look on his face, and he goes, "Well, you aren't supposed to do those for the month of December." And that as a concept to me is very confusing, because we're doing this to calculate theft and kind of see where our shrink is so that our inventory isn't messed up. And December, around the holiday time, like November and December, I would say are probably one of the like highest shrink times of the year because of holiday and all the traffic. And so it would make more sense to do them more often in the months of November and December, like between Black Friday and Christmas. I feel like are really important times to do that. And so I was confused by this statement that he just made that we aren't supposed to do them the entire month of December. And I just kind of looked at him and said, like, why is that? And he looked completely baffled, like, how dare I question him? And he just like looked at me with this like look on his face. He was like, because. And so he like kind of stumbles over his words. He didn't really make any sense. He just was like, it's just not important. It's like not high on the priority list right now, and we just need to like do other things. I was like, I kept my cool. I was even temperament, and I just was like, well, I mean, what else are we supposed to do? And you can tell that he's getting really irritated with me, because he kind of like rolls his eyes and like puffs and stuff at me, and he's just like, well, you need to take all of the temporary tags down and put up and print out and put up permanent tags. And so I asked him, I was like, was there a note written about it, or like did you like verbally tell anybody that we were supposed to do that, because that's not something that was communicated to us. And at that point he looked like he wanted to kick me in the teeth. And he just kind of got really short with me, and he just kind of stormed off. And then the district manager for the district that's like 2 over from us or whatever was there for some reason. And she came over and she was like, hey, you know, can we do like this? And she kind of directed us and like gave us specific tasks to do. Unlike Jerry, who just kind of said, what are you doing? So, I mean, I did what he told me to. Like, I put up permanent tags for all the ones that we had like handwritten temporary tags for. I did everything I was told to do. Didn't really hear anything the rest of the night from him, which I thought was fantastic. Closed and everything, no problems, right? The next day I come in, and right as soon as I clock in, I had like can't even like put my stuff down, and my manager comes back and says, I need to talk to you. So she finishes whatever she's doing, she comes back and talks to me, and she pulls out her little like clipboard and everything, all official like, and she goes, I have to write you up. And I was expecting maybe getting like a verbal warning or like something like that, but she skipped verbal warning and went straight to written warning. And I asked her why. Like, I know that asking why did not do anything good for me last time I did it, but I was like, push my luck, whatever. So I asked her why, and she basically said, in short, Jerry said that I had to write you up or I was going to be written up. So I was like, why did he tell you to write me up? And no joke, she was like, I don't really know. He just said that I needed to or I would be written up. And apparently he also said that he was initially just going to go to HR and have me directly fired, and just bypass all of the like warnings and stuff and just terminate me like on the spot. So at that point, that I was expecting something. I wasn't expecting that. And I really got defensive because at this point my job is on the line. And so she went through the write-up that she was told to write up. Like, first of all, this man can't even like come up to me and like directly write me up himself. He made my manager do it for him. And like we've had one conversation. It wasn't even a real conversation. It was just him barking orders at me. So it's very interesting. how this happened. So basically the main reason that she had to write me up was insubordination. Now, insubordination means to defy orders and basically not doing what you're asked to do, which I don't understand because I did everything that was asked of me. The only thing that I did was ask questions. I asked, why should I be doing this instead of this? Why don't we need to do that? Like trying to like learn and kind of advance my knowledge. And I may have done it with like a slight attitude, but in no way is that insubordination. Could it have come off disrespectful? Maybe, but I mean, I did what I was told to do in the end of the day. And so that word insubordination really just threw me for a loop, and I was super angry about it. And so she finishes talking. I don't even know what she says because I'm just blinded by rage now. And the next thing I remember, she's handing me the write-up slip and saying like, I need to sign this and acknowledge it. And I told her, I was like, I'm not signing that. Like I'm not going to acknowledge that because it is false information and I'm refusing to sign it. And I have every right to refuse to sign it, and that's fine. So I refused to sign it. And at that point, I told her, I'm not gonna do this anymore. And that's when I also learned that not only has Jerry told her that she has to write me up, he explicitly told my manager that he doesn't think that I should work there anymore. And that to me was the most hurtful thing I think I've ever heard. Everywhere I've worked, I have had the best work ethic. I have been on top of shifts that people don't want. I have covered for people. I've come in on days off, as expressed like 2 or 3 times in this story alone. I am always on time. I do everything in my power to do the best job that I can, even at a retail job, a minimum wage retail job. And because I'm just not the kind of person that's like, oh, I don't care about this job, I'm gonna, half-ass it. I don't care, because that's not me. I work hard. I work my butt off. And I know that working in retail, you're not gonna get rewarded for that all the time. But I've never, ever been treated so disrespectfully by my employer before. And at this point, I'd worked there for over a year, close to a year and a half. So I've never gotten a write-up. I've never gotten a customer complaint. I've gotten tons of compliments from customers. So for this man to come in here and have like one kind of half conversation with me and determine that I don't have a personality and he doesn't think that I should work here is ridiculous. So I know he's trying to make an example out of me, and that's fine, but now he's just trying to push me out. He thinks that I shouldn't work there, and he was just gonna like go straight to HR and have me fired. So at this point, I have deemed that this is a hostile work environment, and I go to our anonymous employee concern line and I report everybody involved. I report Jerry, I report the other district manager that was there at the time and didn't really say anything or help out. I reported my store manager. Pretty much everybody and anybody who was in this store and heard all of this being said to me and didn't do anything about it and kind of turned a blind eye, I threw on that report. I just felt so like alone in that. And the reason that I started working at this company is because I really supported their like mission statement to make everybody feel included and make everybody feel beautiful. And you are beautiful no matter like what, no matter if you wear makeup or not, whether you dye your hair, cut your hair, have hair at all, shave, wax, paint your nails, it doesn't matter. And I just felt so not right. Like the whole reason I started working for this company was because I supported their values and I really like the people and I love my job, and I always went to work happy and excited to work with my people because we always had fun, we joked, we helped customers, and it was just the greatest feeling ever to help somebody find this like product that they want, or help them dye their hair in a certain way or do their nails, and they would come back all the time and be like, you helped me and I got these great results and thank you so much. And that was like a great feeling, and that's why I love working retail. I'm a big customer service person. I went to school for social work. I'm a mega mind people person. And so to be told that I shouldn't work there where I felt like I thrived every single day was very hurtful, because I know I'm good at my job. I am fully aware that I'm a great salesperson. I'm great at stalking. I'm great at organizing. I'm great at, selling and just having a conversation with people. And it was just very upsetting to me that this person who had known me for about a week came in and completely destroyed all my credibility and just took me down and like turned my boss against me and turned HR against me and just made me look bad. I was really embarrassed, but I cried, and I don't like crying in front of people, just because I feel very vulnerable and I don't like letting myself be that vulnerable. But I couldn't help it. Like I cried, and my boss got really uncomfortable, and I had to make the report. So I made the report, and flash forward, I get contacted about the report. And basically they're telling me all these excuses and saying like, oh, I'm sure he didn't mean it that way. And, oh, I know him personally and he's a very nice person. And this is how I found out that my regional vice president, who handles all of these complaints, knows my district manager, Jerry, and personally brought him in. And that's when I knew nothing was gonna happen. She gave me all these excuses like, he's such a nice person, the whole renovation and everything, the remodel was so stressful, and he was probably just like very overworked because he had been working all day every day, and he was just stressed out, and he would never say something like that and like mean you harm, and I'm just so sorry that you thought that that's what it meant. And it was basically just a whole, we're sorry that you took it this way, and kind of not apologizing at all. Yeah. So she didn't even really let me get my full story out before she just kind of broke down and was like, I'm so sorry, like he didn't mean it, like making all of these apologies. And like, you can apologize for him and everything, but the point is, he's never spoken to me about any of these problems that he supposedly has with me. He's never brought it up to me directly. He's just using people to tell me these things. And so at the end I got, the whole spiel like, oh, we're going to talk to him and everything, but we really don't think that it's a hostile work environment like you were saying it was. I think that everyone was just very stressed out. And I think you just took it the wrong way. And at that point, there was nothing I could do. So I ended the conversation pretty quick, and I was like, all right, thanks for calling and thanks for talking to me about it. Bye. And then I wrote up my 2 weeks and handed it in, and that was it. Because my own district manager thought, I don't need to work there. So I was like, okay, I won't. So I just want to do a little call to action here at the very end. If you are experiencing a hostile work environment, or any of this like sounds really familiar, like, oh my God, like that's been me before, please speak up for yourself. I know it can be really intimidating, especially if it's a job that you like heavily rely on for your income. Please start looking for a different job and, schedule interviews, talk to people, and reach out to your friends and see if their jobs are hiring, and see if you can get some interviews in so that you can leave. It is so important to have a healthy work environment, because in the end, that stuff gets taken home with you. So if you have a really stressful and unwelcoming work environment, you're going to feel miserable throughout your shift, and it's going to carry into your personal life, and it's just not worth it. So if you have a supervisor or, even a coworker that's been really just unsupportive, and you feel very unsafe or unwanted in your work environment, just leave. Or, just try like really hard to find a different job. I know it's hard. It's been really hard for me to find something else, but I did it, and I had to leave. I couldn't be there anymore. It's not good for your mental health. And it comes first. Like a retail job, it's important to, be financially stable and have a job and everything, but your mental health, you should not have to sacrifice your mental health, wherever you work. And yes, some jobs are just hard and you have to deal with those hard people. But if you have someone who's forcibly trying to drive you out and, you know, dehumanize you and make you less of a person and kind of discredit you, it's not worth it and you need to find something. And not all HR departments are as bad as mine was, but if you can, please talk to HR. Please tell them that something is going on so that they can address it if they will. And if they won't, get out. And also to people who may not be experiencing it but may know someone in their workplace who is, please stick up for your friends at work. If you see someone is being unfairly treated by management or by another coworker, maybe say something. And again, you don't have to go directly to that person. You can report it to your anonymous like employee concern line if you have one, report it to HR. But don't just be a bystander. That's one thing that I really wish I would have had. They all really supported me personally, but none of them really spoke up to HR or like really said anything like that. And that's kind of something that I wish I would have had. I love my coworkers to death. And I get why they were scared because there were so few of us that worked at that store. It would have been really easy to kind of narrow it down and figure out who did it. And I know they probably didn't want to risk their jobs, but if you can, please reach out to your friends. Let them know that it's okay. If you can, speak to HR on their behalf. Just don't let your friends be alone. So if you're going through this, I am so sorry because it sucks. It was such a stressy time in my life and I'm very glad that it's over. So I really hope that this story can kind of guide you if you're experiencing some of the same things, and I hope that it informs you to be on the lookout for these things in wherever you work, your future job, your job now. Just be mindful of the people around you and know what you're worth. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know it's been a very long time since I've posted on this channel. But if you saw this, please give it a big thumbs up, leave a comment, just kind of foster positivity. Hopefully I will be able to make some more less depressing content in the future. I'm working on some ideas right now, so stay tuned. Bye.